Hello there.
Hey Tammy, how are you?
Oh, um, still upright. Yeah, I don't know how you handle as many meetings as you do because um I struggle with it when it is this many.
I think that's a very optimistic outlook you give me on how well I handle how many meetings I have. So that's
You look good, Christian. You look also upright. So yeah, at least you're faking it well. How are you today?
I'm good. Yeah, when I finished up the last of the stuff for my senior design teams for the year, their wrap up, check out type stuff. So nice to have that
Yeah,
closed out.
have you got ones that perform well? Are you generally
Uh,
lucky with them?
yeah, general rule, I'm happy with them. I think I like the 498 students a lot better than the senior design. Uh,
Hmm.
So senior design does a lot of really good things, but a lot of time is spent on the process, right? Like
Mhm.
do a house of quality metric and things like that, which are like
Mm-hmm.
useful experiments, but like definitely eats into the get stuff done time.
Sure, sure. And when you have 498, you just have one student, is that correct? Or do you get them in pairs?
One student, at least one student per project. It's like I had two this year, but they were on different things.
Mm. Yeah, I almost feel like it would be good to pair them up.
Like I always try and have a project for them that's part of something bigger that we're doing. So at
Hmm.
least there's like
Yeah,
some other thing to participate in.
yeah. I've been a little skittish of senior design because I have not had great luck with it either here or when I was at Illinois. Um, so yeah, I've only ever done the House of Pressure one here. I was the advisor. Paul was the supporter, but I was the advisor. But then it didn't convince me that it was a good mechanism.
Yeah, I've only
Because
had them work if they're like paired up with like a graduate student. So it's like a lot of
yeah,
hand holding in those first couple
yeah,
weeks, months. But
yeah. But I've had I think one of the ones that I had at Illinois, they tended not to have my project as a first choice, and that affected their attitude through the semester. Or I think it was a year. Um, yeah, so there's something about that choosing, or maybe I just wasn't very convincing
no, I
at,
100% agree. Like if they get assigned as opposed to choosing, it's never worked out as well. We used to get to do like little pitch decks. Like I think right now
yeah.
they just like circulate them and like sign up. But they used to have like an
Oh,
open house thing, and so
yeah,
you go like talk to students, and
yeah, I went to one of those, but
I think
yeah.
I think that worked a lot better than they read off of a list and choose.
Hmm. Okay. So I was hoping Danny would be here. I threw out the notion of does anyone want to do a get to know you? In general, I'd love to have ideas for that and ideas for meeting structure that could be more engaging. Um we meet in person very rarely, and I think we're on Zoom a lot. And so I am very open to ideas for different ideas for meetings. The default has been I set what the meeting is, And sometimes I pass it to somebody and sometimes I don't. I don't feel the need to be in charge of absolutely everything. So if people have structured meetings from other projects, for example, that have been fun for them, I would love to experiment. And as we get in the summer, we'll maybe have more freedom to do that. Did anyone come with a getting to know you? Like, I don't have any brain at this this time of the semester.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
one we talked about last time we were in person was Two Truths and a Lie. Was a
Oh, those are
was
always
another
good.
one. Yeah. So I know it's one that people do a lot, but it was mentioned last time.
I feel like
Yeah.
that requires too much thinking ahead of time to come up with stuff. I would do a really bad job if I had to do that on the spot right now.
Yeah, and I think it would take a long time. So we should share it out with maybe two or three people. That would take like the whole meeting. But good idea there, Kristen. Um, Misa, do you have any idea about Danny's whereabouts? I was hoping to tap you two to talk about how field goes, just to bring that forward.
Um, Danny is not here in Aries, so I have no idea where he's at.
Okay. Yeah, we created a presence this morning because we were commanded to for the powerhouse visit. So we hung out in the lab, which was fun. We should do that more. Um, so I wanted to talk about two things today. We are doing these phase one visit uh phase one visits, and I think they've been great at screening houses. So, and I think that we're getting more houses attracted, and maybe Kristen might want to say something about that. I didn't warn anybody that they were going to be picked on, but maybe from Kristen and Misa, some sense of where we are with attracting phase one houses. And then what we're experiencing now is we're doing one house at a time, and it's becoming quite time consuming, I would say. So, um, and so I wanted the team's thoughts on if we draw some lines for efficiency. I just want everybody to be on board with those. Um, Kristen and then maybe backed up by Misa, do you want to say something about where we're at with what do you call them, applicants or potential
Recruiting.
participants?
Yeah. We have roughly 27 that are eligible to move forward into phase one just by our first pass of their intake form. But Misa's been kind of doing email one and sending out that. I think he's done phase one at least to 3 homes completely, if not a few more, since we've updated that sheet. But or actually, no, there's 6, 7, 8. Sorry, 8 of them. I may have that wrong, but either way, so we're kind of doing them in chunks. We've got quite a few through phase one, and then we're moving some more. We do have a couple. I think you've got a couple of participant calls with the mobile home ones, Spanish speaking mobile home ones. So that's also going as well. So I think we have a good amount. We sent some recruiting information to Black Parents United, I think, Foundation. It's BPUF. Danny was working with them. So I haven't seen anything come through, but our flyer in the Airy Lab is probably the best marketing we've done. And it's just sitting there. And when people do tours, I get at least like maybe 3 or 4 people sign up from that itself. So, and the people are from all over. So they're not just local, they're coming in from Aurora and Boulder and like even places we can't go. So, um, we've had, I would say, around 70-ish people total that's like put in the intake form. So
And then many of those are not eligible to move forward because of the type of house. Is that right?
it's mixed. It's either their renter or condo, and then we have just a little bit of bigger houses. I think we made it clear that what size on the flyer, and that's been good. And then we have around 10 of them that we're still just need to review, or our mobile homes that we are wanting to bring in a little bit later. So yeah. Anything else, Mesa? Maybe you have better numbers than I do about like exactly where.
Yeah. So I'm just looking at the spreadsheet that we have right now. So we've done 9. We've installed 1, so one's currently running. I have another one that's planned later this month for an install, and then I'm having calls with the manufactured homes right now. Um, yeah, a lot of the houses that we've had, I think they're now starting to get outside of Fort Collins. That's what I expect. Whenever I'm reaching out to these houses. Um, and for example, last Friday we went to one that was in Aurora, but it was like an hour 45-ish from Powerhouse. So it took a bit to get over there. And then to come back also another hour 45. And then when we do the teardown, we just go and collect the sensors, which is just a 2-hour drive to do a 15-minute teardown and then come back. Which I think it would be ideal if we go for multiple installs or another install while we're over there. But I feel like oftentimes that's not the case. We don't really return back to the same area once we go and visit a site. At least that's what's been happening. Um, but yeah, I think that's where we're at right now.
So from the group, I just wanted to get a sense of what we've kind of moved the needle on not having any potential houses to having a regular influx of potential houses. And then I think of the ones we do phase 1 on, we maybe about half of them. Would you say? Look, I don't think everybody's looked at everyone, but some of them are just too clean, or they don't have any events, or they have a lot of indoor domination. But it seems like we're cutting out about half of them. Does that feel about right? So that's an efficiency in that we are not testing houses where we would not see a result anyway. That was a double negative. Um, it is in a time investment that we had not planned to make, so it is costing more than we expected. No surprise, but I think it's a worthwhile cost. And Ellison, this is an idea that you tossed out like way back when, and I think it's really turning out to be a great idea. And so I'm really grateful that we could leverage the experience that you had, which is exactly why your voice is one of the reasons your voice is included in this project. Um, so what I want to raise to the team today is I think we should, now that we're getting more willing folks, I think for the sake of time investment, we need to set some boundaries on how far away they can be. Or we have to be able to do 2 houses when we're going there. And it's a bit of a drive, but it takes out as far as I could tell, last Friday, Misa, it took out your whole day. Right. And so you weren't even back for Sapphire's meeting, and you and Danny were not we're not there. And I think I'd like just gut feel, one, it would be good to limit that to half a day. And so I want to hear from Misa and Danny especially about how it impacts the work day, right? Like if it takes out the whole day, that's not just you're gone all day, but it's a day that you can't commit to doing anything else.
Yeah, I think it's been difficult to do kind of all the prep, travel, install, return travel, and then try and do something productive later on in the day, especially when we've had sites that are further away. That has definitely been tough, and I've definitely noticed that it's cut into my ability to do other stuff for the project. So uh, it would be great if we could reduce travel time. It just seems like the I think everyone probably agrees with that. Um, and I think it would just be great if we could get more people interested in Fort Collins. And so and thinking about later on in the project, if we have to do maintenance or something, like I'd rather drive 15 minutes than, do a 4 hour round trip, back down to Parker or, Aurora or something like that.
Okay, so uh, Misa, do you have anything to add?
No, I think I wouldn't mind having to make the drive again, like if there were multiple houses to do. Um, I feel like for the sake of just going to one site, it's just not worth it. Personally, when it's too far away, when I have to drive an hour 45 and then beat the Denver traffic.
And what's the boundary where it becomes like it doesn't feel so burdensome? Is it must it be in Fort Collins, or is Loveland too far, or maybe we don't have enough experience to say that? Like when does it start to feel like this is a whole day? Is it like Denver?
I think when it's more than an hour's drive, because I think uh, an hour to drive, an hour and a half to 2 hours to install, an hour return, then that's that 4 hours total, and that's a half day. I think that
Mhm.
feels more manageable. I think beyond an hour and you start getting into it really starts to suck the rest of the day. Um,
Yeah.
and so it's either an early morning, it cleaves off the middle part of your day, or it's a late afternoon.
And if we did two in the same area, do you think you would have the energy to drive? Do two installs and then come back? Does that not feel like a too tiring of a day?
I personally think that it wouldn't be a waste if we're getting more data. Um, maybe I don't think it would be repetitive because if at that point it's taking up the entire day, might as well use up the entire day. Um, you know, instead of
Hmm.
just yeah, that's my opinion at least.
Could you do three houses in a day, or is that just too much?
Well, we've been advertising 90 to 120 minutes per install, depending on the test that we need to take at each site. So if we were to do three, let's say they all take 2 hours, that's 6 hours. Um, and then we also have to think about the commute time to each of the houses, and things like that. So it depends again on how much we have to drive.
Okay, and are you hitting 2 hours or are you going over?
Um, I'd say we're pretty good about being on time up to 2 hours. The only time that it tends to take longer is when the project participant wants to talk.
Mm.
Um, and we build those connections. So also incorporate that into the time.
And is that how, tell us what that's like. How often does it happen? How long does it go? Is it enjoyable? Are you sitting there thinking, oh my God, when is this going to end?
I mean, I don't mind having talks with the project participants. I also feel like it helps ease their mind to know that they can trust us. and build those relationships. It also leads to other resources and other potential recruitment.
Mm,
Um, just like in the last house that got the connection to BPUF. Um,
mhm.
so I think it's valuable to be able to connect with the project participants rather than just have everything be kind of routine and robotic.
Mhm. So it can be valuable, but you may need to build in an extra what, half hour, and you never know when that is because they're talky or not talky.
Yeah, and then explaining everything that we're doing to them, not to them, to the house, um, so that they understand what's going on also plays into that time as well.
Mm.
But yeah, you can never count on it. Um, some people are more talkative than others, so or an Irish goodbye, just don't say goodbye at all.
I'm muted. That's the opposite. I was trying to, it's not an Irish goodbye. It's a Midwestern goodbye where you stand in the doorway for 45 minutes trying to say goodbye.
So I wanted to give I know Allison has done field work and has sent Will out to different places. Christian, I think you have some work going on in the San Luis Valley, which is even farther. And so I wanted to give at least you two and anyone else who think they might have reflections on this. How do you think about this this travel time question, and how long how do you build it in, and are there things that we should be considering that we're just being sloppy about right now?
Um, I, c- I can go first because I had a thought that came to mind, but Christian, I'm sure will have more nuanced perspective. One, it was twofold. I think when you can cluster, if you can answer the stamina question of like, yes, if given the opportunity to cluster, I'm capable or our team is capable of doing multiple things chained together. One of the things that seems to be a key to leaving that option open is communicating flexibility with the participants around scheduling windows. Legitimately, they want to know when they want to plan their life around the disruption, so they want advance notice. But I've found that if you have that a little bit of that communication rapport, so you can say we'd like to plan this within the next X weeks so that you could cluster, that's been helpful.
Mm,
Maybe that's obvious, but that's definitely what came to my mind first.
mhm,
And mine was related about the clustering, but within a given day. I think it's great to do multiple, but I think it's so hard to project accurately how much time any given house is that you have to build in either quite a bit of cushion for houses 2 and 3, um, or get people on board that the time window that you're going to show up for houses 2 and 3 might be pretty variable. And so to that point of like,
mm,
well, it's 1 hour drive, 2 hour setup, 2 hour setup, 2 hour setup, 1 hour drive. That I don't think can work, um, because the times are going to slide a bit, right? So,
mhm,
although I think it's ideal, I think quite a bit of cushion needs to be built into all of those. And if participants aren't willing to have a pretty wide window about when their visit's going to be, that window starts to blow up
mhm.
pretty large.
Is that something that you're facing now, Christian, with your other work?
So we have community navigators who are doing it, so they're a little bit removed from us. I
Mm,
know they're having a massive amount of problem
mm,
scheduling things. Now they're having issues that people just aren't being available at the times that they were saying they
mhm,
would be, and all of those
mm.
pieces.
So
But we've hit
we're
that. Sorry, go ahead.
no, just clarifying. People are showing up and then they're not there, or
That is
what?
my impression, but just to be like transparent, I'm like 2 levels removed. It's one
Mm.
of our staff who's coordinating with the community navigators who are local, who are communicating with the houses. So that's my impression about where the problem is, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm not intimately involved in that piece. So take that with a grain of salt. We have hit that with local ones that households are a lot more willing, like for previous studies, we're much more willing to have like a half an hour or an hour window for us to show up when it's going to be a multi-hour visit. So similar to, I think Misa was saying, it's like, well, 2 hours is maybe manageable, but much more than that starts to get crazy. When we had flexible windows and then a pretty long setup time, suddenly homes were committing to half a day of availability, and
Mm-hmm.
that seemed to be too much.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Okay. And so I think when we get to the phase two, that's just going to be a one a day thing. And I think phase one, we've been pretty good at limiting the time that we're there, so it's a little bit manageable, but it still does slip. Um, so Misa, I think one of the things you said was let's push harder in Fort Collins, or maybe Danny said that, and that's one thing we could do to reduce the travel time. I'm thinking we're gonna have to do double again as many homes if half of them drop out because they're too clean. And then some people will just naturally drop out because they will be like, well, that was too much. I don't want to do the rest of it. And so I'm thinking we're in the middle of this still. And so and it's not too late to optimize it. Um, and so so contrasting to the idea of keeping it local, we're now beginning to get a lot of connections, right? Um and those connections are not always in Fort Collins. And so I suppose that we could try to leverage that to cluster things, right? Like, do you have a friend that who could create a cluster? I don't have great creative ideas around that, but I feel like we're both um, making some of the progress that we want, which is great in terms of connections, and then those that progress is then spreading us thinner. So I wanted to call that out, that I see that growth and I think we need to manage it. And I don't know if we are smart enough to manage it or if we're just going to have to nudge it as it goes along. But I think one principle that I heard is houses within an hour drive or two in a day.
So I know we're looking at a lot of different things. Um, do we have an idea of what is our biggest, most common exclusion after we go visit them? Is it not enough air pollution events? Is it the layout of the home isn't good? Like, I know we do trim a lot of people when we never visit them, but after we visit them,
Mm-hmm.
what's been kind of deciding some of the stay in or reject?
As far as I can tell, it's usually not enough air pollution outside. Uh, Christian, if I were more prepared, I would have a list of why homes got excluded. But I do not have that now, but it's a good thing to do.
Okay, but yeah, no problem. So I'd be happy to take this on as an action item if it'd be helpful. I wonder if there's some things we could do from data that is available to do a bit of a sanity check, be it the
Mm,
closest
mm,
purple air or historical, or right. It's not going to be perfect, but if there's some things that we can do to take the 10 candidate houses to 6 candidate houses once they've gone through that first screening or something like that.
mhm,
It's not going to be perfect, and I know the
mhm,
coverage isn't great, and we've found that historical conditions haven't been a great predictor this year for some
mm,
of these years, but just a thought of something that might be worth exploring.
mhm, mhm. That's a great question. Why don't I make a, let's see, what would be a good way to organize that? We should probably tabulate why homes were excluded, or we should have, I think it would be worthwhile to look at exclusion even before we get there. Because Kristen and I kind of bump things down, like too big, too far away, condo, apartment. And those are the reasons that they get um excluded before we go. I don't recall ever excluding one for having officially for having too much indoor air pollution, although I have been inclined that way. I think part of the uh issue that is causing me to hedge my response here is that we have identified some as sure we can do phase two, and since we haven't actually moved forward, that decision still feels kind of squishy. But let's dive into that. And I like your idea, Christian, of maybe being able to, I think you're talking about being able to screen homes even further before we go out.
Yeah, exactly. If they seem like they're a candidate house, is there anything we can get from public data or historical data to
Yeah.
say um, that it's a
And
low
then
probability? Now, from an IRB standpoint, that seems super, to use your terms, kind of squishy. I don't know how we need to think about that, but that's a whole different thing.
I did I really struggle with this IRB inclusion criteria because it's a fact that if they don't have any outdoor air pollution, we're not going to see anything. Um, we we did rewrite the IRB to have that phase one exclusion, right, Kristen? Or we're doing phase one, and then if it's too clean, then we don't do it. So that's already been accepted, and it seems like it could go along the same reasoning lines. I thinking about the flip side of your question, Christian, if we either through your investigation or through our phase one are like, yeah, this is a really polluted area, is there a way we could double down on recruiting there? And is that IRB allowable?
Seems like it'd be IRB um, allowable. Like, we're just we're targeting already by house size and driving distance and things like that. So I think we could make a
Yeah, so I
case
wonder if we
there.
could we do a more deliberate clustering instead of just hoping for it to happen. Okay, let's try to think about ways to do that. Um, Erica, Marilee, Kristen, Whitney, you've been listening to this. Is there anything that came to mind that we should pursue?
I
The
think
only
my
thing
biggest question, oh, go
I
ahead,
was
Mike.
thinking of was if there was anything that they could take a picture of for you or provide something in the middle time that if
Hmm.
they did X, it's like, no, that they could easily provide. Um, if they like, we had some stuff where like I think Christian, I may be making this up, so if I am, please say so. But when we were doing the thing with the people in their backyards, I think sometimes we would be asking about, well, what's your backyard look like? Or can you
Mm.
prove to us that you can put your backyard air monitor at a certain level or something? We did, I mean, but and again though, we were also in Fort Collins, and then when we went to Denver, we could have people all come and pick them up because we did have a day or two where we trained and we went but they came to us and then they went back to their places. Um,
Mm.
so, but the idea of if there was something they could take a picture of, something if you knew this will knock you out, and you know that up front, but you probably already are already asking that. The other thing I was thinking is if there's any thing you can mail to them and ask them to set it up, and it provides some data that then they mail the thing back to you, and then they qualify if you get the right kinds of readings. Or that would be the other thing that I could
Mm.
think of that would kind of knock them out or make them more promising.
Like send them a home health box.
Yeah, honestly, something like that would
Mm.
be the way to kind of go, oh, yeah, you've passed that. Well, now you could go to this next phase or something. But it doesn't make you guys drive there. Or even if it's like they're on the far end of Loveland, I mean, sometimes it's a pain to get even that far sometimes. But
Mm.
I think it makes sense to try to either cluster and or limit the range. Because I think we've done that before. And Christian, again, please correct me if I'm wrong there, but we did put some parameters in that way. It sounds like you're getting houses. So it's not
It's
that you
better.
need to, yeah, you don't, because I think we had to range a bit because we needed people more, or they weren't signing up or it wasn't as easy to get them. Whereas I think, could put in you could say, well, it's a smaller area, but you got a pretty good idea that people are going to be interested. And the
Yeah,
more
we
they hear
definitely did
about,
those.
pardon me?
I was gonna say, yeah, we definitely did those photos
Yeah.
before. We're doing it for one of our studies across the country right now, and it's a requirement before we send them equipment. Um,
Mm.
so I just did a bit of back of the envelope calculations. If we had two people for a 5 hour commitment at kind of the nominal mid-range that I think in grad students and staff and things like that, we're like $350 before anything else. Like that's all on the same price of uh, some of the equipment we're shipping around. Just think about
Mhm.
Marilee's idea of mailing things. Like if we mail things and then people opt not to participate, they may not be super inclined to mail it back to us. We've said thank you, but no thank you. But that may actually
Yeah.
not be a huge cost difference than us sending people down, um, and then them not participating because we've rejected them, even if they don't mail things back.
Yeah, and I think one of the advantages to people visiting is we are scoping out for the installation.
Well, I don't
But
think it would avoid it. It just might, if we're screening people out because outside air pollution's bad or not bad enough. If we
yeah.
could not do the trip unless we've proven to ourselves the outdoor is
Mm.
good, we could then collect that equipment when we're doing this follow-up tear
Huh.
down or that sort of thing.
We currently send one person in per house, right?
Two.
We send two. Yeah, that's
Yeah, and I
tough.
think we have to. I
Even
think
if we're
it's
like driving to Denver, it'd be great if it was like more than one. It's like you could like drop somebody at, you could plan a whole route out via Waze and like drop somebody at one house and then go to the next nearest house and then grab you know what I mean? Like just do more of like a hub and spoke sort of
mm,
deployment of
mhm.
folks, just to kind of maximize efficiency. But I don't know that we have enough people to do that.
I don't think we have it's not a bad idea if we could get them clustered like that. We were just talking yesterday about how we really want to have two people
Mhm.
in the home, not just for um because it takes that many people to make the measurements, but for other reasons.
D, like that's a good safety planning too. You
Yeah.
never,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, I would
Um,
just double down on I, I would I like your thought about the hub and spoke, Whitney, but I feel like in my experience now,
I don't
I
want to
would
go into a
not,
house by
yeah,
myself.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't want to send I wouldn't want to send anyone in on their own.
Okay.
And for the people on on the receiving side, they generally have seemed to like also feel similar reluctance. It's just yeah, less safe environment. But it's such
Yeah.
a good thought. It's a great thought. Just
Yeah,
hard
if
to
we could,
implement.
if maybe we could get DoorDash people to drop the equipment off.
Your enrollment comes free pizza. Or I don't know what DoorDash they deliver all kinds of food. So
They deliver pretty much everything, as far as I can tell.
You can get like gas, you can get like a lighter from the gas station delivered via DoorDash, I'm pretty sure.
oh wow.
Deliver. But I have known people to have pregnancy tests delivered via DoorDash.
Huh. Could one other thought I had, and this may be goofy, and I wish my parents like were alive and lived in Denver, but if you went down and you had an afternoon one and you spent the night and you had one in the morning and then you come back.
Mhm.
Um, that's another way to kind of cluster. You still lose time. I mean, you don't have to commute back and forth. So you save on the commuting time. Um, and you don't have as much of a, yes, you're going to be this day and you're going to be this day. So you're not trying to juggle more than one within a day. But it does, there would be the, like, I don't know, I have a tent, but, you know,
So
there
I'm
would be
not,
a cost.
yeah, I'm not worried about, so, and I will say that to the field team, if we need to support overnight stays, then that is possible because we had planned to do a lot of this work somewhere else. And so there's travel money built into the budget. That is one thing that we will be underspending on. I don't see that as our problem right now. The problem is getting the clusters that would allow you to stay overnight, but please do not hesitate to bring that up as an option if it would make things easier.
Could it be that like you're scheduling it within a set amount, not just 2 days, but like this week we're doing however many houses we can a week and plant somebody in that location so that the travel is only 30 minutes or 45 minutes or something
Mm.
between the homes. And so it's all in one area, but and then the
Yeah,
overnight there. Yeah.
like let's say the Bee Puff connection turns out to be really fruitful, then I don't mind sending people down there for a week, even if they're only doing 4 homes, right? If it makes life easier. So we can talk about that. These are hypotheticals. I like all these ideas for making things more efficient. Check the air quality to see what it's likely to be like. Christian, what came into my head is let's do your test on the ones that looked clean and to see if we could tell that they would have been too clean. So let's explore some of these things. But I think in general, the idea of holding off on the far drives and pushing where we can cluster will make it a little more efficient. And we don't have very many houses. We have several more, but it's not like we're doing this for 2 or 3 years. So we just have to make it a little better. We don't have to solve all the problems. Just any problems we can solve would be great.
One other thing that may help is defining our max amount of like home square footage. Because Fort Collins does not bring us the smaller homes. It's cheaper. So if we're wanting local, then we need to bump it up maybe 200 square foot to like 23, maybe 24. But like I know 3,000's way too big, right? But we have so many in this like mid area that we have to say no to because it's over our 2,000, 2,100 square foot limit. So that's just, is it that much bigger to have that little bit more space? Or about the data is really what I'm.
That's a good challenge, Kristen. Is it really that Fort Collins has larger homes, or is it that our marketing attracts people who have larger homes in Fort Collins?
It could be
'Cause
both. I think the smaller ones that we've recruited are mobile homes. But in general, when I see a Fort Collins home, it's going to be around the lower 2,000 square
Yeah.
foot. I mean, I've had
Okay.
a 4,200 one, but yeah, those are clearly out of scope. But you know, like my home, like I think it's 2,400. So I would be, but it's a small.
Barely. Or
Right. It's like, what is that complete upper limit that we are not
Yeah.
willing to go to? And
So I
yeah,
think what you're saying is there is a measure that we could use to bring them closer, and that is increase the square footage.
I think so, yeah.
Okay. So I don't know that we have time to fully discuss the second topic I raised, but maybe the answer is no, and it'll be a quick discussion. So I will raise it for that reason anyway. And that is we are collecting this information on homes, and now currently we're just reporting back to people. Is there anything we can do with the information? Uh, we can look at maybe indoor, outdoor um, exchange, but I'm just wondering if there's any scientific value in it, and I think the answer is no, but I wanted to float it to the group. But they're not randomly chosen. They don't represent anything. They're just, you know, so I just want to make sure we're not wasting something.
Can you remind me? So sorry, like just what the variables are that we have or what the data is?
It's indoor and outdoor air concentrations, typically 3 locations indoors. And then we have a blower door test. And what else, Misa?
Blower door tests. Sometimes we'll do pressure pans to measure the duct leakage. The Omni data, vertical height, everything else. I mean, window characterization we've just done the last 2 or 3 houses.
Yeah, but
But
that's not routine. I think it's like sort of where we
no.
need it.
Mm,
So I don't think there's um anything to build on, but I just wanted to throw it open to this creative group to see if I should be thinking more broadly.
And these measurements are like the indoor outdoor location data is like taken every minute or second or what's the frequency?
Every minute or every 5 minutes, I can't remember what but it's pretty high time resolution as things go. Do y'all remember what our time is, Danny? You're the one who downloads a lot.
I think it's 5 minutes. It's either 1 minute or 5 minutes. I think it's 5.
Yeah, look in the data files because we average to whatever we feel like, but then that's not the same as, but it is like that, Erica. It's multiple times per hour at least.
I'll think about it a little bit. I mean, we can definitely build a model, right? But is it an interesting model? So I'll think about that. And maybe it's an interesting model, not from an air quality perspective, but just from a, I don't know, LSTM perspective, that someone else could find value in. So maybe I'll do a little digging. That's
What
the
is LSTM?
long short-term memory. It's like a time series um, machine learning model that's pretty popular with IoT data.
Okay. Yeah, I'd be interested to know, even things like how well do they relate to the purple layers that are around them? Um, uh, yeah, so I do think that this is valuable for phase two, but we are also putting a lot into it that I just want to make sure that we're thinking of everything. Okay, well, I do not have anything else right now. Any last thoughts from people? Okay, you're on notice, 2 truths and a lie. We do not have a meeting next week. Please go to the Powerhouse Barbecue and maybe I will see some of you there. And then we don't have a meeting the week after that for graduation. And the week after that, the May 22nd, is our in-person meeting. So please plan to be at Powerhouse. And we will have something fun for you. Thanks, everyone. Have a good weekend.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye.